Hi everyone! Happy New Year! How is everybody doing? Let me see if we are live. I think we're all good. Let's see. Who is here? I put a little note in my first comment about sharing. Okay, good. It looks like it's working on my end. About sharing one of your creative art or creative business goals for 2019. So thank you all for those of you who have been sharing. I love reading all of these. And let's see who's here. Joanne, Gail, Suzette, Deborah. Welcome everybody who's joining me live. We have a few people on. If you are here for the first time, can you put a 1 in the comments? Wow, it's going fast. Cheryl, Sherry, Elaine, Kim, Amber, Sandra, Joanne. Is that Wicked Girl? Happy New Year, everybody. I can't believe it's 2019. I just got back from Hawaii. If you've been following me on Instagram, I shared a little bit behind the scenes of my trip in my Instagram stories. I've been doing more in my stories this past year, more so than posting on my feed. So it was an awesome couple of weeks, few weeks actually, out there spending time with my family. So thank you all for joining me. Yay. Okay, good. We have a few new people. This is what I do in my monthly live streams in my Art Journal Play creator community. And so many of you, I recognize your names. Thanks for joining me. We've got a worldwide audience: North Carolina, Florida. Oh, looks like, okay. South Carolina. Hey, Krista. Germany. So we've got an international audience. I am just trying to get back into the groove of things in my studio. Actually, this week I'm still a little bit part-time in the studio. I usually take off about 2 or 3 weeks in December, and usually after the first week of January, and then I go full force back in. So I am in and out of the studio this week, but on January 1st every year, I usually do some sort of art journaling, more so to kind of write down some of my mantras and some of the ideas and things that I might want to accomplish this year. So I was going to do that, and I thought, I might as well do it in a live stream. And actually, I'm going to show some of my past journal pages. Many of you have been around with me for years, and you might recognize some of these, but I thought I would share just a few of them. I tried to dig up a couple of them. I had to kind of rummage through some journals and kind of remember where I had done them. But I have a few that I'll share with you also. How many of you actually do this kind of work where you set goals? I'm not so much into resolutions. I really love more so goal setting and writing kind of the ideas and things that I want to accomplish during the year. But how many of you do this on a maybe yearly basis or a quarterly basis? Some people do this on a monthly basis. I would love to know. I noticed that a few of you were saying that, let me go back in. I want to be more consistent with my art journaling. I want to get re-inspired. Let's see. Somebody else said new inspiration and staying on track, and less distraction. Yeah, so I can totally relate. There is so much distraction, especially when we think about like even all the social media that we're doing with our in our lives. I think that right there causes a lot of distraction for people in general. So for those of you who are new, I think I saw a couple of new people. Let me just show you really quick the screen here. Hopefully I don't have a funny face there. But you can see here, if you want to change the settings, you can change actually the quality. It should be broadcasting in 1080, so that's what you'll see. Mine's automatically 1080, but if you're getting a blurry picture, you may want to choose a lower setting, but that's how you change the quality of the broadcast. And then most of you have found the chat here. If you want to write something, you can type it right here on the right side. If you have a question, go ahead and post it underneath. And I've got one question there, and Sherry, I will be answering that in a little bit. I know many of you are excited about my new paints, and I have a bunch more that will be in stock in this week, actually, that I'll be posting, but I'll talk a little bit more about that coming up. So that was just a quick overview of where you can find things while we are live. And going back to some of your other comments, more consistency. So that's like a big theme, I think. Let's see. Sharon says her goal is to create a series including mixed media and fiber. I can't wait to see that. Or Sharon, I can't wait to see that, Sharon. Hey, Amber, welcome. She says, I'm hoping to wake up early more days than not and enjoy art in the quiet early hours before the day begins. I love that. That's something that I need to try and do more of. I tried to do that. When was that? Maybe a couple of years ago. I definitely in the morning, I do a lot more. I like to do yoga and do meditation, and once in a while I'll pull out my journal, but that might be kind of fun just to do like one day a week for me personally. I find that I like to have kind of the freedom each morning to kind of choose what I want to do. Whereas some of you may, wake up and that's the first thing you pull out is your journal or your sketchbook. And I think it's a personal practice that you can develop. There's no right or wrong. It's completely up to you, but definitely bringing that consistency into your art practice is helpful. And that could be not only just like sketching and painting every day, and it doesn't even have to include that. It could be things like actually going out and exploring, and maybe it's like looking for a color palette, going to the hardware store and collecting little paint chips, those kinds of things that bring out the creativity. So maybe it is, that you want to bring that creative practice into your life each day, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be like you're actually painting or doing a physical piece of artwork. And maybe some of you, it might be incorporating your digital work, where if how many of you got an iPad for Christmas or have an iPhone? I'm an Apple girl, so all of my devices are Apple, but I am going to show you in a little bit some of the stuff I've been doing on my iPad also, because that's one of the ways that I kind of keep consistency in my work. Whereas I'm not in the studio painting every day, or I'm not this is one of my areas in my studio. I have a couple of different areas that I do big painting in here, but then I also do some painting up in my front painting studio. So I try to get into my studio at least once a week. And when you are running a business that is also developing product, that takes up a lot of time. And then when you're teaching, that takes up more time too. So I personally would love to be able to get into the studio more often. Let's see. Yay! Cheryl says, I have an iPad now. Awesome. iPhone, looking for easy video editing for the iPhone. Yes. A couple of things. iMovie comes on the iPhone, so that's super easy. I'll be talking more about editing video in my creative business retreat in January for those of you who are a part of that. Let's see. I kind of scrolled down. art journaling and diary most of the days of the year. Let's see. Gail said, I'd like to pick a word for each year. Nice. I tried that a few years ago and I had a problem sticking with one word through the year. So, and then I would forget. So I give it to you if you can totally do that. I think that's awesome. I tend to kind of go with the flow. So like this month, I think I'm going to focus, and it may be longer than a month, but for some reason the word wander kept kind of coming up in things that I've been working on. So I think that might be my first word for this year. And I kind of go like through each month, and if something kind of comes up as the time goes, then I might choose a different word. So I think there's lots of different ways that you can incorporate ideas and mantras and different things like that into your creative practice. Let's see. Okay. I'm going back and forth on the comments, so I'm trying to see if I skipped anything. Deborah says, balance art with my full-time teaching job. Yeah, that's always, I'm sure, a difficult task to do. But if you set aside time, like either, making an alarm so that you have, even if it's 10 or 15 minutes, at least you're fitting in something. And that's another reason why I think it's definitely great if you can do digital work too. I think that's another way to incorporate art into your daily life. And there are so many fun programs that you can use to kind of just even have a digital sketchbook. So, okay, let's see. I'm gonna swap my camera down and kind of do a little show and tell, and then I'm gonna journal for a little bit. I haven't really figured out what exactly I want to paint today. I'm going to do kind of what I've done on most January 1st in the last few years, where I do a little bit of art, but then I incorporate a little bit of writing into my pages, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm not the traditional journaler where I, kind of write neatly. It's kind of intertwined throughout the picture or the image that I am drawing. So let me switch. If you have questions, again, you can put them under the video and I will get to those as I share my work and paint. But thank you all for joining me. If you are watching this live and you need to go, you can always come back and watch the replay, and all you have to do is go to the same link that you're in now. The replay will be available right after the broadcast ends. So feel free, if you need to go, then you can always come back and watch at your leisure. Okay, let me switch my camera, and actually, let's see. I think that also, I think I'll show that iPad portion after. So I'm going to switch my camera down, and then I'm going to share some stuff, and we'll talk a little bit about goals and things that you can reflect and think about. And then we'll also, if we have time, I'll share a little bit of my digital journal too. Okay. I will be right back, and grab your supplies if you want to paint. If you're just going to color it with markers or pencils, grab those and your art journal, and let's have some fun. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, let's see. Let me just get my camera a little adjusted. It looks a little dark. I still need to organize my studio desk here. Let's see. How does that look on everybody's screen? I think I'm going to brighten it up just a tad. So one of the things that I have done in the past is on January 1st, I have created these journal pages that a lot of times were with some of my girly, what I called girly glam faces. So I'm just pulling out a few of these so you can see. And these are in various journals. Some of them are in journals. Some of them are in on single sheets of paper that I keep in a binder. And you can see sometimes they're just words, like I'll write random just words, like put soulful, dancer, spirit. This was all actually painted with a pipette with India ink. So if you're not familiar with a pipette, it's one of these guys. And I just filled it up and drew her face and all the lines with a pipette and the ink. And then in between, this is all watercolor in between. And this one I did in, it says 2003 down here. So I try to make sure that I date them, but sometimes I don't. All the writing was done with a calligraphy dip pen, and for years my January 1st was always something with one of these little girly faces. So that was done, gosh, 2003, that's so long ago. This was one of my handmade books from back then. Just canvas board with a little bit of fabric, painted fabric in as the spine, and then you can see this is all it's so fun to kind of look back and see like what you've done. This is over, let's see, I can't even think how long ago that is. Well, it's definitely a long time ago. So you'll see inside my journals like just randomness, because I like to experiment. Like there's some pages in here that are not completely finished, but it is something that's kind of how the process of my work is. I skip around. That's why I was saying I had to go dig into my journal archives, because I don't do things in chronological order. So like here, this is January 1st, 2016. And I actually was in Hawaii this year. I remember, because I was doing this at a coffee shop, and I did a lot of this work over stencils. So you can see the right half of the page was sprayed with some inks, and this is one of my Stencil Girl stencils. And then I started drawing her face over this side with gesso, covering the stencil so you could just see a little bit of it peeking out. And then I used, most of this is a micron pen, and some of the Sakura Sensei, what are they called? Pens. They're just the permanent black pens. So again, mainly what I was doing in here, just writing the words. So simplify was something back in 2016 that I wanted to do, and that theme has carried through now. That's still one of the words that I'll probably incorporate in. And here I've got 15 project. That year I celebrated 15 years in my business. Collaborate, let's see. And sometimes these are business, sometimes they're personal, there's love in there, more art, it's always a common theme. Good health, let's see, what does this say? Be in the moment, focus. So, this whole idea of, your January 1st page could be just words, they could be mantras, they could be ideas. And then this was done inside a Dilutions journal, which I love the journal, this paper, because this journal because it does have some really heavy and nice paper. So you can see as I flip through here, there's just all kinds of random stuff. Oh, and here's 2015. So there is another one of my faces. So this was 2015 and then 2016. So you can see somehow 2015, that's definitely like not a year's worth of stuff in between. But you can see here more fun stuff. Let's see. On 2015, I had flourish, release, balance, heal, simplify. There's simplify again. Oh, thanks, Kim. She said the journal would be over 15 years old. Yes, totally. I wasn't really thinking too much. Let's see. Sparkle, embrace. So for, like I said, a few years there, I was doing a lot of different faces for my journal, all with the whole girly glam theme. So those two were there, and I have just a couple more I'm going to show you. So sometimes I do them on single paper sheets, and so what I'll do is put them in a binder so that I don't lose them. But here was one that I did, and some of you might recognize this because it was turned into a stamp actually. So this was done in 2011, and so I put like things to accomplish. This girly glam was all done with a dip pen. I drew her out, and there's actually a video on my YouTube, I think. I'll have to find that. It shows the process, a little bit of the process of creating her. And so I put, you know, make more art, make more art for me, building my business, play always, let love in, make a difference, live a beautiful life, things to accomplish in 2011. So you can see lots of different things. I put yoga, doodle daily, journal sketch. So what are some of the things that you all would write? If you want to share one word or a phrase that you might want to incorporate for your journal pages, I would love to hear. Okay, so that is some of the January 1st journals. And then I thought, one more. Where's my old iPad? Let's see. I had to go find my old iPad. This little guy I've had forever, and I just found one of my digital. Let's see if it won't. Hopefully, it won't freeze. I pulled it up on my. Here we go. So you can kind of see. Let's get rid of this guy. I don't know. I'm afraid to move it too much because this it might just freeze on me. This is like this is like 5 or 6 years old, this little iPad mini. It's like the very first iPad mini. Oh, see, it just froze. So you can see there, one of my favorite things to do is also use the digital journal. And that one, I think I did in I did that one in paper 53, but I've done a lot of work in apps like Procreate and Note Shelf. Those are two of my other favorites. So let's see if this will turn on. I have my iPad Pro. So I just upgraded to the iPad Pro, and I am loving it. But let's see if this will show up really quick and I can share with you this little guy. Oops. And just show really how you can like Okay, can you all hear me? I think we might have a little. I was trying to mirror my iPad, and I don't know, maybe it's not. Let's see. I'm back. Let me know that you can hear me and see me. I'm going to try this one more time. Okay, great. Yeah, I am not sure what happened there, but let's see if this will work. If it won't, then I will, it might be kicking me off because of the bandwidth, but it should be okay. I tested it earlier. We'll see if it works. Okay, it looks like it might be okay. Just don't know if, it's not showing it though. Well, it's showing it on my screen, but it's not showing the iPad. Oh, well, that's a bummer. We'll have to, I don't know why it's not. Let's try one more time. If not, I can just kind of show you here on the screen instead, if this doesn't work. But it looks so much cleaner with when you mirror it. And we'll see if this works this time. Okay, we might be good now. Let's see. Try one more time. Okay, let's see. It might be helpful so that you can hear me. Okay, so let's see. Can you all hear me? On screen view works. Okay. I think that we are good to go because I'm seeing my microphone moving. It's just hard to see. Okay, so my reflector, okay, great. My reflector software, I don't know what happened with the update. So right now it says trial mode. Yay. Okay, so you're not seeing the split screen. I guess I'm not sure if it doesn't work. I have two apps open, and let's see if I can bring this over here and you can see it. I had the two apps side by side, but they're not wanting to do very much there. So you can kind of see, I was doing some collage cutouts of this, and I want to see if I can. Let's see if we can get Procreate up here and show you some of the fun stuff so one year I did just a like Happy New Year thing. So on this one you can see both sides. Let's see if you can actually, this doesn't want to work. Let's just get rid of Dropbox over on that side. And I just want to see if you all can see what I'm seeing. Okay, I think we're good. So, how many of you use Procreate? So I'm just going to show you. This was, I think, last year's. I should look at the date, but this incorporates doing some digital journaling, stamping, and using some of my digital stencils, and then drawing. So it's basically similar to what I do when I am painting, but I can do everything on my iPad and not have to take out any paints, markers, or collage papers. So it's definitely, I think, a great way to be able to bring in art into your everyday life. So I thought I would just share that really quick so that you can kind of see some of the fun stuff you can do. In the upcoming months in the creator community, I'm going to be sharing more about that and how I incorporate the digital aspects of what I do into my creative process. So hopefully that is something that some of you might be interested in, because I think it's definitely a great way to kind of be able to do work when you don't have access to all your supplies. So I'm going to brighten this up a little because it looks a little dark. Let me just close my reflector there. Okay, so I am just gonna do a little painting. I have one of the mixed media journals from Strathmore. This is one of my favorites to paint in, and I'll probably swap between that and maybe some other papers or another journal while the other things are drying. I might use these. My niece Marley, she got me these for Christmas. She had these that she was playing with, and I started playing with them. I'm like, oh, those are kind of fun. They're like erasable color, and they're little markers. So I think I might play with these too. So she was all excited because she's 10, and this is what she bought me. She's like, Auntie, have you used your markers yet? And I told her I was going to use them today, so if I can just open them. Has anybody used these before? They're actually a lot of fun. You can do some fun things with them by going back and erasing through the marks, which I thought was kind of fun. Reminds me of, there was some erasable pen that I think that I had from when I was younger. Let's see. Deborah says, great to use while traveling on a plane. Definitely. Yes, the iPad has been handy while out and about or chilling with the family. Mary says, I have Procreate. Lori says, digital stencils. Yes. I started designing digital stencils about 5 years ago, and mainly for Art Rage, because Art Rage has the capability to actually use the stencil, but you can do it in Procreate. Similar, like you have to, it's how you use the digital stamp in there as a stencil. So it's something that I'm going to teach in my upcoming digital class. So I am just going to wet my page a little bit. I don't know. Lately I've been doing a lot of water media, just kind of playing. And you can kind of see this brush was probably a little dirty because there's blue in it, but I'm just wetting it a little. In the art.journal.PLAY Creator Collective, if you're not familiar with it, that is my monthly live stream workshop / creative forum / place where I share lots of different inspiration and creative itineraries quarterly. So it's something that people have been asking, like, so what is it that you're currently teaching? And that's something, if you want to know what's going on in my studio and kind of be up to date with some of the new techniques and things that I've been doing, that is the best way to be involved with me if you want to learn online. So I do monthly workshops, art journaling sessions, kind of like this, and we experiment with different themes and ideas. Now quarterly, I tried to do it monthly, but I really love being able to do these for a longer period of time. So right now it's quarterly, and we focus on different, this quarter we're going to be doing water media, but what we're going to do, we're going to kick off, and each person who's in there, you are actually going to choose your own kind of idea or theme that you may want to work with during the 3 months. But I'm going to be sharing different techniques each month that show things that you can do with water media. So right now I've been using my inks, dropping in some of my inks in there, and you can see how some of them move quite a bit, others move a little slower, just depends on the actual pigment that's in the actual ink. And it's just so much fun to see the flow. I've been loving working with the water media over the last year, more so than I've been doing a lot more water media than acrylic painting. So if you were, I think I did a water media meditation like live stream a few months ago, maybe it was couple of months ago. So I'm using some of my handmade watercolors right now. You can see they're really highly pigmented. And for those of you who asked, I think it was, let's see. Let me look at the question. Cherie asked, when we have more paints, etc. for sale? So I will be listing some more paints this week. There are some that are going to be back in stock because we took a break during the holidays, so we weren't shipping out anything. But you can actually also join the subscription. That's only open for probably this week, and then I'm going to close it. So if you want to be part of the monthly subscription, that's something that is still available for the inks. And that does include a separate workshop that shows how to use the colors and some of the extras that I put in the kits. So not only do they contain the actual paints and inks, and the paints and inks differ every month, but it is the one way to get my current colors because I only make them in limited batches. So they are only available for that group, and then sometimes I have a few extra and then I'll sell them as single sets that you can get. But for the most part, the best way, if you want to get my most current color collections, then the subscription, the Water Media Play subscription, is the best way to do that. And I'll follow up with an email. I'll also put the link in here so that if you want to, is there ink in here? It looks like I have ink stuck in there. If you want to join me for that, you can. I'm going to take, so one of the things, I should have shaken this a little more. That first ink that I drizzled on there, I can't remember what collection this is from. You think I would know, but I created over 60 colors last year, so that's part of the problem. I have to look it up. But that one, if you can see, I don't know if you can really see it in the screen that well, it has quite a bit of sparkle. So there's a lot of metallic flakes in there and a lot of mica. And I'm just going to do a little doodling with this. One of my favorite tools, many of you probably have seen this, is my blunt needle syringe. So if you have a dog or a cat, you might be familiar with these things because you use them to administer medicine. That's how I had them. They had them for Indy. So now I include them in my kits because they're just so much fun to write and to draw with. You can get some really thin and thick lines when you use them. And you can see how pigmented these inks are. They range. Some of them are more sheer because that's how they're designed to be. And then most of them have, some really bright and vibrant color. And you can see what happens when it goes wet into wet. And then you can also take water and just kind of move them also if you want to. So you can see that purple looks really dark blue, but it's actually a purple ink. And it's one of my colors that is it's like a tritone ink they're color shifting. So it actually has, you'll see it here, it's got pink, a little lavender, and blue in the one ink. It's and there is a version of that, I believe, in the one of the winter color sets that I had. So I'm just gonna let some of this just drizzle and drip and, you know, dry. I think I'll write a little bit. How are we doing on time? I've got about 17 minutes. Let's see. Lindsay says, my 12-year-old daughter has those pens for Christmas too. She loves them. I know, it must be their age group, because my niece is, she's 10. But let's see, we'll incorporate some of this in here. I'm trying to get an area that's like not too wet because I don't want to ruin the pen. And so I think that the fun thing with these is that once you have them in there, you just take the little, I don't want to shake the table too much, but you just take this and use that little eraser, and then you can erase back your marks, which I think is kind of fun. Let's bring this up a little bit so you can see. So you can see where I erased, there's all those little, and it really works better like if I had, you know, if I color in this a little bit more, then I can really do some fun mark making. That was the whole idea behind this. Let's see. How many live lessons do we have in the Art Journal Play Creator? There's one live lesson scheduled every month, and then from time to time I do some other pop-ups, but then in the actual community, in the private forum, I'll post additional videos. I'm going to be doing a quarterly PDF that has digital journaling pages, and I'll show one more time before I go some of those just so you can see. So you can see, look at that. I love it. So it's kind of like reductive, what is it called? Reductive drawing? Or what's that? Yeah, I think it's called reductive, when you take the paint and scrape it away. So you can do some fun mark making. It just takes, like, you have to color in the whole page, which is not, it's not that bad, but it's kind of fun. It's just a different way to play and to incorporate color into your work. So then I can go back in and then put in another color if I want to. So you can see how that looks. Okay, let me grab a dip pen. Where is my dip pen? And then I'm going to use my watercolors and my inks to actually write with the dip pen. I do, one of the comments I get about the Creator Collective is that you know, it actually gives people a focused time where they get online and actually do the work, and they know they're going to show up. And I try to alternate the times for our international audience, because I know I've got a lot of you who are, you know, in different time zones. So I alternate you doing them at 10:30 in the morning Pacific, and also at 2:30 or 3:30 in the evening or afternoon Pacific time, so that, you know, that people can join in. And if you can't get into the live session, then you can always watch the replay right after. But there's definitely, I have a lot of fun stuff planned, some different prompts. For the winter, we're going to do a 7-day challenge, just kind of to do some, get some consistency in your work. That's something that, you know, that you all are bringing up in your goals there. So that's one of the things that we'll be incorporating into the Creator Collective this session. So I'm putting a little bit of the watercolor right on the dip pen. And let's just write over here. A lot of water in this one. Let me get my ink. Put a little ink in my palette because this one has a lot more pigment. Because right now that just looks like a bunch of lines. This nib is like super flex on here, so you can see it kind of splits quite a bit when I write with it. I'm gonna, let's see, did anybody write some words? Let me go back, and I think I missed some of them. Procreate. Let's see, I see everybody's. Did anybody share any words or mantras, ideas? And did I totally miss over those? I see a lot of yes, yes, yes. Okay. Would love to hear some of the things that you want to do this year, or themes or ideas. I'm going to write wander here. So for those of you who might be like professional calligraphers, definitely don't look at my writing as that. I just randomly use these dip pens however I want to. So obviously it's not like perfect calligraphy, but that's kind of, you know, it's my style. And I think I'm going to change. This one gets a little stuck on that paper. Let's see if this one doesn't flex as much, so this might be a little better. Let's try this guy. Let's see. I am stuck. Let's see. My daughter has a Cricut machine. She thinks it may cut stencils that I create, so that will probably be one of my projects. Ah, yeah. Let's see, Jenna says, I cut mine with the Cricut. Yeah, you can use Duralar, definitely. You can also cut, you know, just with like, what is that thing? Like a manila folder. It's not going to be as permanent as using Duralar, but if you just have a bunch of manila folders laying around, it's a great alternative to make stencils out of. So this might work a little bit better. Wander, play. I'm still going to write simplify in here because I definitely need to get rid of things and simplify. I should also write, like, I need to clean out my email box. My email box is crazy. I want to see if it's just this paper because it's getting completely caught on here. I may just change to a regular pen in a minute. Some words. What would the main difference between Play Creator and Mixed Media Lab? So I'm gonna. Well, I can answer that now. Well, let me just look at these. I'm gonna move that to the questions, Jana, and then I'll answer that in a couple of minutes so that I can come back to it. But I wanted to get some of these words in. So, grow beyond mistakes. Deborah says, love, abundance, health, creativity. Love it. Fearless, Lori says. Oh, my niece was wearing a shirt that said fearless the other day. Flow, that's a good one. Courage, patience, focus. Great words, everybody. I love that. Flow, that's always a good one. Let's see. I want to create more space just in everything. Like I said, want to kind of go through, and I have so many supplies and things that I'm not using. So, kind of going through and doing a audit and getting stuff out of my studio that I'm not using. So this, if you've never used this before, this is a fun pen. It's a Pentel. Oh, I forget what it's called. Does anybody know? I'm sure many of you have this pen. I can't remember the exact name of it. It just says Pentel on here, and then there's Japanese characters. But this is a nice, if you like a nice dark black, this is a good one. Also, one of my favorites, let's see if I have one here, is the Pigma Sensei. These are the plastic nib ones. These are great if you have heavy hand like I do, because I ruin all the nibs of all my pens. Any of these Fude nibs, those I always get, they get really worn because of the way I write. So these are some of my other favorites to write with. Let's see, I'm just gonna write Pilates, some of my health stuff, yoga, meditate, daily. How many of you are familiar with the Insight Timer app? That's what I use for my meditation apps. It's awesome. And there's, I don't know, there's, I think, thousands of meditations on that thing. But if you are looking for something that's easy, and there's guided meditation, there's music, there's yoga, there's creative writing prompts, there's all kinds of interesting things on there. And I think they also have workshops now. I'm just kind of moving some of this other ink around. But spending 20 minutes in your journal just kind of playing with color. I'm kind of into this winter color right now with this blues and teals and purples there. You can kind of, I don't know if you can see the color shift in my inks and the shimmer. Each one has its own little interesting property. So you can see here where that one, is shifting to the pink. It depends on where the water hits it, and it'll just kind of release the color. That's always fun. Those have been so much fun to develop. They're some of my favorite paints to play with, because you never quite know what's going to happen until it starts drying. So you can kind of see here that that's what's happening. Let's see. I'm going to move that. Ah, Lori says Payo. I'm an instructor. Yeah, I've done Payo before, but I actually do them separate. I go to a Pilates studio, and then I also do yoga, mainly at home. What is the meditation app? It's called Insight Timer. Here, I'll write it in there, and it's free. It's awesome. Thanks, Elaine. She said pretty color shifts. Ooh, oh no. I hope that didn't knock you guys out. I think it might have. Okay, good. I swiped my cursor, and last time I did that, it knocked out the live stream. So it looks like we're all good. Yay. Okay. Let's see. It looks like that kind of shifted a bit. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's 4 o'clock. So I'm going to come back on screen and talk a little bit, and let me pause. Let me switch my camera. I'll be right back. Okay, let me bring down the brightness just a bit. Okay, let's see. Let me answer some of these questions that I skipped over. If you put a question in the chat, can you do me a favor and put it underneath the video and I'll answer it? I moved a couple of questions underneath. So hopefully there was a lot of you putting a lot of comments in there. So hopefully I didn't miss everybody's questions. Jenna asked, what would be the main difference between the Play Creator and the Mixed Media Lab? So the creator, the Art Journal Play Creator collective, that is the monthly live stream, and that has access to a private forum where you can share your work, and it's totally separate. It's not on Facebook. It's a totally separate forum where you would log in. You can share work. I put prompts in there from time to time. I add in additional videos throughout the month based on whatever the creative itinerary for that quarter is. And then we also do some fun little sharing things. I write additional posts and different kinds of inspiration things, color palettes and things like that. So the Creator Collective is, if you want to do live workshops with me, that's what that is. And then the Mixed Media Lab actually is all, not all of the, but majority of, I would say, a big part of all of my previous workshops, online workshops, are part of the Mixed Media Lab. So let me see. I could probably show you really quick inside here. Let me do a quick share. Let me go here, and you should be seeing the Art Journal Play site. So if you become a member of the Mixed Media Lab, there are 50 of my online workshops as part of it. From time to time, I do special bonus live sessions, but it's really a library, basically, of my previous workshops. So when you have access to it, this is what it looks like inside. Here are some of the workshops. So like Floral Delight, that's one of my flagship classes. That's not part of the Mixed Media Lab. You still, if you remember Floral Delight, you access it here in my education site. Inspiration Sketchbook, this will be part of the Mixed Media Lab coming up. And this autumn and holiday letter journaling, that's part of the Mixed Media Lab now. And then There are also some of my previous e-courses. So if you go back, you can also watch some of my other sessions. So in 2017, I did a series of live workshops, which are now all basically self-guided. So they range. There's 24 workshops in here from art journaling, using texture, setting goals. We talk about mark making and stencils. So when you click into here, it'll take you to a place where you can actually log in and watch the workshops. Um, and then, let's see. So you can see, we talk a little bit about creative process. There's some bonus journaling sessions. And then there's also the courses. So my actual e-course library. If you're not familiar with my work, I've been teaching for around over 17 years, but online for 10. So a lot of the classes that are in the Mixed Media Lab are some of my previous classes. So some of these are older classes, but they definitely are, the content is still definitely good for today. Like you'll pick up a lot of new ideas and techniques. So inside the classrooms, you'll see there's videos, there are PDFs. Some have the live Q&As. So this will give you access. If you're part of the Mixed Media Lab, you get access to over 400 videos, and there are a number of PDF workbooks. So just hundreds and hundreds of colorful PDF workbooks. So you can see here, this is just one of the, let's see if it'll open up here. I think it might download instead of open. Or actually there. Oh good, it did open. So here's one, for example. It's one of this particular workshops has color palettes in it. There's some collage papers. So you can download these, and there are additional things that you can actually do in your art journal. So let me go back. So in the Mixed Media Lab, you have access to all of these additional videos. There is also I should have gone back. Hold on. Let's go this way. So my previous digital canvas courses. So if you are a digital person, there is a whole bunch of stuff on Paper 53, Note Shelf, Art Rage, and Procreate. This class was my first digital class, so this was actually back in October 2015. So the apps have changed a little bit, but the way that you use the program hasn't. So they are still all, definitely you'll learn a lot, even though the interface might have changed just a little bit. So there's those, and then I'll go back to the art.journal.PLAY. Let's see. So Dwell, and this is going to be added to the Mixed Media Lab in the next few months. This is a 16 by 20 size art journal. So you can see that that's one of the workshops. So they range from collage to art journaling to painting, to surface design. There's all kinds of different videos and classes in here. So I'm just going to show one last thing. Inside here, you can see just more of what the classrooms look like. So this is all about surface design, where we do things from doing floral icons and using photographs as inspiration. So you can go in, you can watch these 24/7 on any device. I'll just play this one. I don't even know what's on here. Let's see. This one is icons based on photos. So it has a little bit of a lag just because you're watching a video in a live stream. But you can kind of see what some of the videos look like. So this particular one, I'm just fast forwarding through it. So we're doodling with a brush and ink and just doing some pattern work. So like I said, there are a number of videos in each of these workshop lots, and then lots of fun PDFs. Let's see, I think there's in here, let's look at here, we'll look at one of the workbooks inside here so you can see. So I give tours of some of my journals, and then there are all of these. So some of them, oh, my disk is full. I've got to empty. I've got to update my, let's see if this will open in, there we go, in a tab. Oh, it doesn't want to. Well, I can't open it. My disk is full. I've got to clear it. That's the other thing. I've got to clear out my computer. So you just get an idea of what the Mixed Media Lab is there. Okay, let me go back and answer some of if there's any other questions. So hopefully, Jana, that answered your questions. What's the difference? And actually now, the price is going to go up in the next few weeks because I'm adding more stuff. If you sign up for a monthly membership, you actually get access to the Creator Collective. If you join the Mixed Media Lab, you'll get both, but you also have the option to just join the Creator Collective if you want to do that and you don't want all the other workshops. Let's see, do you know Jet Pens? Yes, I've bought, and Jet Pens actually sent me some pens years ago, but I bought some stuff on there. Sandra, yes, I will email you. I asked a question about becoming a member. Yes, I'll email you privately about that because that's a different situation. So I'll email you in the forum about if you are part of my Creative Soul Visionary program. If you're part of my Creative Soul Visionary program and you want to join the Mixed Media Lab for extended period, just email me in the forum and then I'll let you know what your options are with that. Okay, let's see. Did I miss Happy New Year? Awesome. So if you're interested in my inks and paints, you can go to, I'll put the link up for that too, just if you want. I'll have some new listings in there probably by Thursday or Friday. So if you are interested, I'll put that in there. There are some that are, the subscription is still available, so that will probably stop being available this weekend. So if you would like to join the monthly subscription, it's only for 3 months. I do them for 3-month increments because I like to change up the subscription. But that new subscription is going to be a lot of fun because it also includes, in March, it'll include my new printmaking plates. And these are right now just in the subscription. There'll be some that are available by themselves, but it's part of the subscription, the monthly subscription. So you can see more details about that if you go into that link. It's the Watermedia Play monthly subscription, and you get whatever the product is of the month. So for January, there's 4 inks, and let's see, it's under the calendar. Here, I'll show you this link really quick. If you go, let's see. When you get onto this page, you just click on here And you can see what the calendar is underneath here. And January, where you'll get 4 inks, a water media fragment pan, you get 4 dropper tops and swatch cards and tools, plus the workshop. And I usually throw in a bunch of different fun bonus goodies, so you can see what each month is and what it includes if you just read down here. And so there's only a few of these left, and I will be closing the 3-month subscription this weekend, just so that we can make sure that we get everything ready. It starts shipping in a couple of weeks, and I usually do that cutoff, and then it's closed for the 3-month period, and then you'll have an opportunity to join again when I do another 3-month subscription later. So I think that's all the questions. Let me go back and just double check. But thank you so much, everybody, for joining me this new year. I am looking forward to sharing more with you. I'll show you what this is looking like as it's drying. So this was 3 of my ink colors plus some of my watercolors, and you can see how vibrant and bright the color saturation is on that, and some of them have a little bit more glitter. And the other thing, if you join either the Creator Collective or the Mixed Media Lab by tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a digital workshop, and you'll get access to that and also a PDF. And I'm going to be showing you how I take my PDFs from any of even my previous workshops and how I use them digitally and basically cut and paste and use. Let me grab my iPad. And how I use them to create kind of my digital sketchbook. I didn't get to show everything. Let's see if I can just show really quick on here. But I love, how many of you use Note Shelf? I love using Note Shelf. There's Note Shelf Classic and Note Shelf 2. I love both, but they are great for different reasons, and I use both of them. Note Shelf Classic is pixel based, so you can do a lot more freeform cutting and collage. And then the new Note Shelf 2 is vector based, so if you wanted to do some of the features from the classic, you can't do them in the new one, but I use them both together to be able to do both, like the cutouts and actually to do some note taking and journaling. So one of the things that I have been working on is my just doing things like brainstorming my color collections on here, and so then I can drag in my photos and write notes and think about some of the ideas for the different color sets that I'm going to launch for the coming year. So that's one of the things that I'm using my digital journal to do, and just even to brainstorm and plan out my year for my business. So if you're in my Creative Soul Visionary Business Immersion Retreat, we're going to be talking about that in there. And also in the Creator Collective, I'll be showing you how I use the digital tools to do some of my project brainstorming too. Okay. Well, thanks everybody. I hope that you had a great first day of the year. Thanks for jumping on and playing, and I hope that you'll continue to spend some time working in your journal and on your work. And, if it takes you to set your alarm for like a 10-15 minute period so you can create that creative consistency, then I encourage you to do so. I talk a lot about different ways where you can incorporate art into, or creativity into, your daily practice in the Creator Collective. So I look forward to hopefully seeing some of you in there. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. If you have questions, you can always message me, or you can write them in here. I'll come back and check. You can also come back and watch the replay too. And for those of you who are part of my programs, I will see you in the next couple of weeks. We have a few live streams this month, and we are going to kick off with an orientation for both the Mixed Media Lab and the art.journal.PLAY Creator Collective next week. So you may want to join ASAP so you don't miss out and you get to join in all the fun. Thanks again, everybody. I am looking forward to 2019, and I wish you a very creative and a beautiful year. I will see some of you in class, and others of you, hopefully I'll see in person or online. Thank you so much for being part of my creative community. I feel so blessed to be able to share what I do with you all. Okay, everybody, I will see you later. Have a great night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.